if we're going to talk honestly, the majority of his callers would call in, and this is the last thing I'll say about Kevin, then I'd like to explain my thoughts, but I will just say this for the sake of the argument. The majority of the callers that called in said, hey, I want this in a man, this in a man, this in a man, this in a man, this in a man. Why don't I have that? And then he asked them questions, and he said, oh, well, because men typically want this. He did not do it in the same way that I would deliver it. But a lot of people didn't like the fact that he even pointed it out. A lot of people don't like that. And I think that if the church pointed things out, you wouldn't need someone like him to point those things out, to tell somebody that the majority of men do not want, Christian or not, do not want their woman to be overweight. Or
the majority of women. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean,
you can ask because I was going. What were you saying?
Oh, okay. I was going to say the majority of women don't want to be overweight. I am currently overweight. I'll just say I am currently overweight. I am on a diet. I have a diet doctor. I am working out. I am working on sleeping properly. I am working on lowering my stress levels. There are so many different things that add to someone being overweight. And so I think Dr. Boyce Watkins said it really, really good.
Who's that?
It's one, I'll send him to you. He's an economist.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But the point is, he said something really balanced when he was talking about Kevin. He talked about, the things that were great about him, and he talked about the things that weren't so great. And one of the things that he said wasn't so great is he was basically saying, but if you're going to make me feel bad about being overweight, I don't need you to do that. If you want to help me with my weight, then offer me something like a gym membership, or let's go walking, or let's go eat some, healthy foods, etc.
But he gave them advice to find a nutrition.
I'm saying the vitriol was damaging. I'm saying I don't need someone to point out to me that I'm overweight. I'm fully aware of it. And you have no idea what got me here. And assuming that this is just what I want, that I am not fighting it, that because I'm overweight, that I never work out, that I never eat right, etc. Making a bunch of judgments on me is hurtful and harmful, and it doesn't help anything. So I'll just wrap this up because I want to jump back to you by saying one line. My point is, you're absolutely right. Men love women who are healthy and fit and look good, and they are visually stimulated. I know all of these things. I teach all of these things, but I don't teach them in a way that also makes women feel bad about themselves while saying, we got to keep it tight. We got to get it together. We need to be visually pleasing to a man. And I also would introduce something that, I don't know, it's like foreign to him, is that all men's standards of beauty are not the same.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
That's just the reality. And so what one man would think of as like full figured, another man would think of as overweight, and vice versa. I just think, I think there's a lot of nastiness in us attacking each other that doesn't have anything to do with us actually doing what we're saying the goal is, which is bringing men and women together so that they can love one another, and so that they can understand what is attractive to one another in a manner that's actually not critical, but is addressing what the issues are.
Right. The only thing I disagree with, though, is that people are asking, why do I not have this husband that I want? And he's giving them statistically, the majority of men want this, and you don't have that. And so this is how, and so the advice would be, get a nutritionist, get a gym membership, do this, do
totally
that.
Agree.
So
totally agree.
And so that's what he would say, is what I'm saying.
But the way that he would say it was really, really insulting.
But
so he missed it.
If you call, but here's the challenge that I would give to all believers, right? I'm not advocating for evangelizing or giving out the truth in the way that he gave it. But what I will say is, if you claim to have a spirit of discernment, and you claim to have the Holy Spirit within you, you recognize the truth regardless of how it's delivered. And you're not going to say, oh, well, it missed me. Because we're responsible for, hey, if God gave us the truth, then we get the truth. However we get it. Even
I disagree with that.
Okay, well, then this
I disagree with that.
You can disagree with that, but this is the problem. The problem is this. Biblically, there are more standards where God cares more about the truth getting out than the way it was delivered. I'll give you an example. With the Bible claims that God does not celebrate the death of people who are unrepentant. God celebrates the people coming to receive the message.
Mm-hmm.
We agree with that. We're both believers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elijah made fun of the prophets of Baal.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the great delivery. Nehemiah was back in Jerusalem building the temple back in Israel and telling the Jews and the Israelites, hey, follow God's command. His own fellow Jews he beat up. And that probably was not the best delivery, but it was a message that was given. And as the receiver, not as someone who's talking to the deliverer, if I'm talking to the person delivering it, I would have a different message. For the person who's receiving it, we're responsible for accepting truth. If we're starving in the middle of the desert, yes. If we're starving in the middle of the desert and someone throws a steak at us and throws a water bottle at us, we don't just say, I'm not going to eat that. I don't have to. And then God's going to say, oh, you're right. You didn't have to eat that because it was given to you in a bad way. We don't
Let me
demand
address
how
that
the
right
truth is
there.
given
Let
to
me
us.
address that right there. Let me address that right there. If I'm starving and someone throws me something, here's the difference. And this is why I totally disagree with what you're saying. If I'm starving and someone, like, I'll put it on a platter, has my medicine, right? Let's say that it's medicine. We'll go even worse than starving. We'll say, I'm going to die. Right, got it. I'm going to die if I don't get this medicine.
Right.
So you have medicine for me. You put it on a silver platter. You put the medicine right there. Let's say that it's a pill. And then you heap 3 piles of cow dung on top of the pill. You're asking me, do I want to delve into the cow dung in order to get the pill because it could save my life? And I'm looking at that and I'm going, no, I don't want that. No, let me just finish. Let me finish. And I'm looking at that and going, no, I don't want that. The problem is you're assuming this is the only place that I can get my life saved. There are 3 other people down here who are also offering me silver platters with absolutely no cow dung. I'm going to go down the street and get it from them. Because Kevin is not the only person who is offering life-saving medication regarding my truth. There are therapists, coaches, counselors, ministers, relationship experts all over social media who don't add cow dung to the medicine, so I don't have to accept it for them. And I didn't accept it from him. And I will never accept truth from someone who ridicules me, puts me down, bullies me, and says really mean things to me just because somebody's saying that's the only way you can get it. No, it ain't. I got truth over here. I got 5 people over here. They're teaching me the exact same things without the toxicity, without the bullying, without the negative. So,
I'm not claiming that. I'm not claiming in this analogy, any analogy breaks down, you can take it far enough. But I'm not claiming that.
But you were saying that as a Christian, I have to accept the truth from somebody who's mixing truth with a bunch of other stuff, and I don't have to.
I'm claiming that if you're a believer, one day you are going to stand before God with the cards you were dealt. Some people are going to be dealt truth on a silver platter their entire life. Some people aren't. Some people are going to be dealt truth harshly. Some people's only pastor they're ever going to come across their entire life is harsh, and they're still going to be held to the standard that everyone else is held to. They're still going to be held to the same standard. So to tell people that, hey, if the truth isn't given to you in the way that you like it, if you define it as mean, or you don't like it, or you think that it's not okay, then you don't have to accept it. That's not true. If you have the option, 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 let me finish. I let you finish your analogy.
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
If you have choices, of course, take your choice. But if I would argue this, if those people were actually telling them the truth, why would they even have to call in on his show?
They didn't know those people. I'm talking about me.
And then if you have options, then I would say, great. I never claimed you had to listen to him.
Yes, you
said
did.
that
Yes,
there are
you
some
did.
people-
You
No, I
basically,
said-
yes, you did.
I said-
You
I said
basically
if
just,
you-
yes, you
I
did.
said you
If
do
I
not
may,
need to- I
if
said
I
you-
may, yes,
if-
you did.
Then
You
let me say
basically
this.
built,
Then let me
yes, you
clarify.
did. You
Let me
just
clarify.
built
I'll
a
clarify.
case.
I'm going to clarify that.
You just
So
built a
this
case.
is what I'm going to clarify.
Clarify, but do
Let
it
me
after
finish,
I say
please.
this. Let me
Don't
say
interrupt.
one thing
Don't
and then you
interrupt.
can clarify.
Let me finish.
Let me say one thing and then
Let
you
me
can
finish.
clarify.
I'm going to clarify really quick. If I said, and if it was understood that my intention was saying, you have to take Kevin Samuels' advice, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: you don't get to choose how truth is given to you all the time.
Sure, I do.
God may only send this person to tell you this
Sure,
truth
I
that
do.
no one else will tell you, and you are responsible for receiving that, and it's not always going to be on a silver platter. And as believers, we need to be able to recognize truth when it's spoken so we can chew the meat and spit out the bones.